In this session, we're going to have a look at work orders. From the main screen, just click on work orders, and you'll see straight away a summary list of the work orders that are in the system. You can select either all or work requests or closed work orders. We'll just look at the open ones at the moment. Remembering, of course, you can use the search button at the top to look for a detail. I'm looking for a leak. Work order about a leak. There we go. Or we can, from any one of the columns on the screen, we can either sort by the number or we can apply a filter to look for our work order. Once we've found our work order, we just click on it and we can go to it. Raising a work order is the same as it is for a work request. We just click on the function button and we put in the amount of information that we need to get the work order started. Starting out with a work summary, what's broken in there. We could save the work request with just that amount of information, but it makes sense to add more, including the asset, if we know what the asset is. I'm just going to click on this one here. The maintenance type, if we know it, and work cost type, etc. Perhaps a date scheduled. Now, the amount of information, if we save it now, it will just be a work request. If we want it to actually be turned into a work order, if you've got authority to add the extra fields, then you would add in the maintenance type, work cost type, etc. If you try to change the status without adding the fields, it's going to tell you with a pop-up. There we go. It needs to know other information like the work cost type. And if we do it, click there, it also wants the supervisor, which is generally the electrical or mechanical. And then it's going to want to know a date scheduled as well. Here we go. Schedule a date. Now it is a work order. Let's take a look at some of the other functions that we can add to the work order we've created. I'll just click back on there. We can add a photo if need be. What photos have I got? Here we go. Pick up that photo and add it into the work order. Very handy for adding a visual description of what's wrong. We can add an assignee in here. So we've put Bob on the job. We can add files or documents directly. Now, this is very handy for work orders that are about service jobs. When the job is complete, we can add the service report in at that point. Work notes is actually the page that will be printed out on the work order. So that's where we would write detailed instructions in here. And you'll also note that when we go to close the work order, there's some history prompts there. What was actually wrong? What did you do to repair it? Was there some PM learning that we should know about? The technical details tab is where we might add some labor estimates and any work regulations if need be. The messages tab is very handy. That is a communication tab separate to anything to do with the work order. It gives you an opportunity to have a communication with the work requester or other people involved in the job. You can actually chat in there about what's happening. Bill of materials is where we would either add spares that we want to purchase for this work order, or if they've already been allocated, depending on how you operate in your situation, it could either be a pick list of spare parts that you then go to the store to get, or it would function as the bill of materials that is sent off to purchasing. The labor page is where we could add our hours if need be. We're not going to look at that today. The final page I'll show you in this session is the linked resources. Now, linked resources, the difference between that and the documents on the front page is this links to a central library of documents that would have already been set up. So we want to link here to, let's say, the hide puller manual. The hide puller manual is sitting in the central library, and we've connected it to this particular job so that we can refer to it. Now, in terms of the tradesman looking at the work order, he just goes to the link resources, clicks on there, and the document comes up. I've just used a random manual here just to illustrate what we're doing. The final section that we can look at with work orders is the function buttons on the top. I'll just talk you through them, otherwise it'll take too long. Create a PM task. If we looked at a breakdown work order, and as a tradesman, we're recommending that it should be turned into a PM work order, we can click on that function and very quickly take the details of the job to create a PM task ongoing. Copy work order function is used for copying this work order off to perhaps another asset, so same kind of detail, but a different asset. It might be a whole row of pumps, for instance. Subsequent work orders are used where we're sent off to do one job and there's another job that's come out of that. A very good example would be a PM check, where we've done the check, so we can sign the check off, but out of the check, we've found things that are going to require further work. And of course, the close work order function is what we use to signify that we've completed the job. What we would do, depending on the requirements for your site, we might add our labor costs in first, or some more detail on the work notes page, that type of scenario. Definitely this is worthwhile from a trades point of view, because this is what you are going to search later on when you want to find out if the machine is broken again and you want to see what happened last time. This is where you'll put the detail. Anyway, if we've done all that, all we've got to do is hit the close work order function, and it's going to ask us what date we actually closed it. So that was the day we did the job. Done. And the job is now gone. Thank you. That's all I've got to tell you.